Right after Julius Caesar was killed, Octavian is trying to restore order. And in doing so, he puts down the Brutus and Cassius uprising. And Philippi was where the victory was kind of resulted in the war in Philippi. Well, now Octavian has all these soldiers that had just won a great victory and have nowhere else to fight. So what do? He builds a town here in Philippi, makes it a colony. We talked about that the other week. And puts his soldiers here to rebuild this town. It becomes a very patriotic town. And in this, Paul is at the same time trying to create a church here. So you have this very new uprising of heavy Roman soldier-style people that are very patriotic and worshiping the Caesar. This new church that is starting, and there's a lot of suffering that is happening here. And Paul is trying to work with this. And he actually said it's been granted to you for not only to believe in Christ, but to suffer also. And I want us to recognizing that suffering often is a sign of doing the right thing. And you will see this over and over again. I've seen this with new converts as well, where they get saved and there's this time of great excitement and then, bam, suffering. And often our religion or our doctrine has said that, oh, just keep praying, the devil's fighting. And I think sometimes God's saying, no, I'm trying to test. I'm trying to understand and work to realize that there's a reason why this suffering is here. Are you truly following Jesus, or is it some other path that's happening? Paul, right after his conversion, we know that he meets Christ on the Damascus road, and as he's going to Ananias' house, God speaks to Ananias and he says, go, this man is chosen. Paul, he's chosen to be an instrument to the Gentiles. And I will show him how much he must suffer for my name. The first words that Paul hears after his conversion with Ananias is this idea that I've got to show him how much suffering. But why this? Why is this suffering the way it is? Why is it a part of God's plan for us followers of him to suffer? Is there not a different way? The question then becomes, well, how did Christ connect with mankind? Why did he come? How was he able to help people on the earth? Because in our heads we have this, if I had perfection, if I had this perfect life without pain, I could then help somebody. If I won the lottery, then I could connect and help people. If we were this way, then I could help. But perfection isn't relatable. You can't relate to somebody if you're on your high horse in your mansion. And we see this with Christ in this time. We're looking at the Advent season. Why did Christ come to earth? Do you realize how much he had to set aside to come to earth? Do you think that was an easy path? Being born in a shepherd's cave among the sheep dung? And it says in Hebrews chapter 2, for this reason he had to be made like them, fully human in every way, in order that he might become a merciful and faithful high priest in service to God, and that he might make atonement for the sins of the people. Because he himself suffered when he was tempted, he is able to help those who are being tempted. What's your experience with pain? What's mine? Maybe you've experienced job loss, financial crisis, abuse, loss of a spouse, parent, heartbroken, physical pain, health issues. Those things, those afflictions brings connection. Those are the areas that you're able to understand somebody else's activity and can connect with them. In this, I came across a testimony that was done before the judicial committee in Washington, and it's Gianna Jessen. And Gianna Jessen was a abortion survivor. It was a part of a process where a late-term abortion with a saline abortion, where they actually burned the fetus inside and out the body. And after 18 hours of being in her mother's womb, she was delivered alive. And I want you to listen to her testimony and see the words that she uses to describe what happened.
Thankfully, the abortionist was not at work yet. Had he been there, he would have ended my life with strangulation, suffocation, or leaving me there to die. Instead, a nurse called an ambulance, and I was rushed to a hospital. Doctors did not expect me to live. I did. I was later diagnosed with cerebral palsy, which was caused by a lack of oxygen to my brain while surviving an abortion. I was never supposed to hold up my head or walk. I do. And cerebral palsy, ladies and gentlemen, is a tremendous gift to me. I was eventually placed in foster care and later adopted. And hear me clearly, I forgive my biological mother. You are made for greatness. You were born to defend women and children, not to use and abandon us, nor sit idly by while you know we are being harmed, and I am asking you to be brave. In conclusion, let me say, I am alive because of the power of Jesus Christ alone, in whom I live, move, and have my being. Without him, I would have nothing, and with him, I have all. Thank you.
My cerebral palsy is a gift. She is one of the leading voices against abortion. We'll find that our pain is the very gateway that allows us to connect to others. Your suffering, your activity that you have been able to go through is a gift from God. When you recognize that this suffering is for a reason, you're able to look outside of yourself and see the suffering in somebody else. And that suffering becomes the connection that you're able to help them. In 2 Corinthians chapter 8, it says, "For I testify that they gave as much." This is the church in Philippi, in Corinth that's going back and forth in this discussion in this letter. "For I testify that they gave as much as they were able, and even beyond their ability, entirely on their own. They urgently pleaded with us for the privilege of sharing in this service to the Lord's people." They were asking and saying, "I want to be a part of this mission." Even at great pain, they were wanting to be a part of this. And if we steward our suffering well, we recognize that this is a gift. We're able to see the hurt in others and can bring the love of Jesus into their lives.